What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Bing Bone Tomahawk by S. Craig Zahler. So, guys, I know what you're thinking. Hey, that's not a book. Yes, you are very observant. It is not a book. It's a movie. But the reason why I want to review this movie is because of the writer and director S. Craig Zahler. Earlier this year, I read A Congregation of Jackals because it was sent to me by a subscriber. What's up, Larry? Anyway, after reading that book, man, that book is still, after the halfway mark here this year, that book is still one of my favorite reads this year. So when I read it, I also found out that S. Craig Zahler had written basically 3 westerns. He wrote A Congregation of Jackals, Bone Tomahawk, and Wraiths of the Broken Land. Now, I'm definitely going to read Wraiths of the Broken Land, but I wanted to take this time in between to watch Bone Tomahawk. Now, S. Craig Zahler considers these 3 to be a thematic trilogy of sorts. They don't cross plot lines or characters or anything like that, but they all really revolve around the same themes. And goddamn it, dude, I'm just a huge fucking fan of this guy right now. After reading one book and watching one movie, I am all on board and just can't wait to see what he keeps putting out. But goddamn it, guys, let's get into this. Bone Tomahawk is just like A Congregation of Jackals in the fact that it's being labeled as a Western horror. Now, we're not going to see any supernatural horror elements, so it's not like vampires, werewolves, and ghosts. This is a human horror element, which personally makes it that much more scary to me, because this shit feels like it could really happen, or it has really happened. And that is fucking terrifying. It seems that S. Craig Zahler does like to start out his stories with a very heavy-hitting moment. One that is dark and dastardly and kind of sets the tone for what you're about to consume throughout the tale. Bone Tomahawk opens up with a pair of thieves slitting throats on sleeping campers just so they could steal their goods. Now, when the thieves get spooked by noises in the distance, they make their escape, but they stumble upon an Indian burial ground which they accidentally desecrate. And we can all imagine what happens when you desecrate an ancient Indian burial ground. Now, I've also noticed that after Zahler slaps you in the face right out the get-go, he also likes to pump the brakes, slow things down, and build the story, build the tension, build the characters, and it all pays off once the building is done, and because shit just pops in the best way. And I love this guy's stuff, guys. You can see, right? Zahler will bring us to a kind of nowhere town known as Bright Hope, where one of our thieves will just kind of show up. Now, we know when you live out in the middle of nowhere, strangers cause a lot of attention to themselves, and surely the thief does. Now, through a series of events, we'll see this thief in prison, and he's also wounded. Now, the town doctor is a woman, Mrs. O'Dwyer. One thing I love about Zahler's writing is that he just is great with character work. And Mrs. O'Dwyer is a great character. Now, we will see her get kidnapped, and this is really what springs forth this whole story. Because the first half, actually this whole thing is really about rescuing this kidnapped woman, the wife of one of the men that lives in this town. 4 men from Bright Hope will go out on a brave journey to rescue this woman. But before we even get to this point, I love how Zahler handles this character, because a kidnapped woman sounds very, like, we've heard this story, right? And they seem like they're helpless characters. But Mrs. O'Dwyer is not a helpless character. She is a very capable woman. And S. Craig Zahler portrays her as such throughout this movie, and I fucking loved it. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Like I was saying before, Bone Tomahawk really is a story of 4 men as they attempt to rescue this kidnapped woman from a group of savage natives known as the Troglodytes. These guys are a tribe of just killers. They are cannibalistic, and they have become more of animal than men. They are beasts at this point, and they are fucking terrifying. Let's just face it. Now, along the way, we will find that this is a kind of an unconventional group of men. Though they might all come from Bright Hope, they all have their differences, and they will have to battle those differences as they try to come together to battle everything else and survive just so they can make it and rescue this woman, Mrs. O'Dwyer. Now, one of the members of this group is Mrs. O'Dwyer's husband, and he is injured. He starts this whole journey with an injured leg, which just adds that much more fuck to the to the whole story, because these guys start out having to pull dead weight, and it's just a perilous journey right out the gate. You're starting to understand this thing is taking place in the Old West. So even on the best day, people don't trust each other at all. Like, you're likely more to shoot a guy if he stumbles upon your campsite than say hello and offer him a can of beans. The latter half of this movie is intense, and it is graphic, it is violent, it is all of that. And you've probably heard that if you've heard anything about this movie. There are some scenes in here that will stick with you for the rest of your life. So it's not something I would say, if you don't have a strong stomach, if you're squeamish, probably not the film for you, okay? But but I need to just keep this thing going, so I just want to say, this is really where Zahler brings the horror aspect. When we come across the troglodytes, it is not fun for our characters, and you will certainly worry for their safety. Okay, so one of the first things I really want to get into about this movie is its pacing. Because I've heard from a lot of people that, oh, it's a slow burn. It's, the first half is really slow, but then once it gets going and everything pops off, it's on and cracking, and it's great. It's fast-paced, like just violent fun. I can agree with that, but I also disagree, guys, because I didn't find the first half slow at all. In fact, I was kind of prepping myself. It took me a minute to actually get around to watching it, because I was like, well, I want to have the time to actually sit and focus if it's going to have a slow half. I did not think that the first half was slow. I thought it was very interesting, and a lot of it has to do with the characters and how they develop, or just how you kind of come to understand them as the men that they are. Like, I love the way that S. Craig Zahler just kind of unravels his characters for you. He did this in A Congregation of Jackals, and I saw this same stuff here in Bone Tomahawk, which makes me really, really excited for Wraiths of the Broken Land. But either way, like I said, Zahler has that structure where he's going to hit you right out the gate, pump the brakes, slow things down, build it all up, and then bam, home run hits, and you're just gonna fucking love it, which for me makes it this whole thing paced perfectly. It's not slow and then it's paced perfectly. It's building to the moment. That building, it is not slow and then fast, guys. This thing, in my opinion, is just one amazingly paced movie. The next thing I kind of want to segue into is S. Craig Zahler's character work. Now, this can be kind of a tricky thing to talk about because this is not a book, it's a movie. So we have not only S. Craig Zahler's writing of the script, we have actors who portray that. So let's not, it's pretty silly to think that, it just one of those things is the cure-all, right? Like, you could write amazing stuff, but if you got a bonehead actor that can't pull it off, well, it's garbage, and vice versa. So, I think that right here in this movie, Bone Tomahawk, S. Craig Zahler might have got the most perfect fucking actors to play these parts. I mean, it is fucking nuts. And I didn't even really know, like, one of these guys. I mean, I guess I kind of knew who he was, but I had no fucking clue how much I would love his acting. So with these characters, like I said, it's kind of tricky, right? Like, we all know that Kurt Russell is in this movie. And I was expecting I got what I expected out of Kurt Russell. I love Kurt Russell. I grew up with him as Jack Burton and Snake Plissken and all that shit. I think he's a badass to me. And he really does fit well in Westerns. Tombstone, all that, so Kurt Russell plays the role that you would expect Kurt Russell to play in this movie, and he does not disappoint. Now, the thing is I feel like a lot of people are going to think that he's the one that steals the show. He's like the main focus, which he is definitely a main character. But the fact that all these other characters shine just as bright is what is so amazing about this story, and I do think it has something to do with S. Craig Zahler's writing. Yes, it also has to do with the acting, but A Congregation of Jackals, this was one of my shining, pros of the book, was just that these characters were so well fleshed out, thought out. They felt like real people. I cared about them, even if they were dirtbags. And he has done the same thing here in Bone Tomahawk. So let's talk about the other characters, right? Right out the gate, we meet the thieves, who are played by Sid Haig and David Arquette. And I have to say, David Arquette's performance in this movie is fucking top notch. The guy, You can have whatever opinion you want of him. He is a bit of a strange dude, but he kills this role, okay? And I really do, because there's scenes with him and Kurt Russell do it like one-on-one dialogue, and I don't feel like Kurt Russell overshadows David Arquette. And that really blew me away because I was expecting that to kind of happen. The next character I want to talk about is Chicory. Now, Chicory is the deputy to Kurt Russell's sheriff, right? And Chicory is a very simple-minded guy. You almost start to think that he's a complete invalid, but Chicory is really the comic relief throughout this story. This story is dark, and it takes place during a time where people just are untrusting of each other, and it's not a nice place. It's not a nice time to be alive, right? It almost seems more of survival than actual good living. And Chicory will bring these lighthearted moments throughout the story in just fucking... in spades, baby. Richard Jenkins is the actor, and he kind of outshines some of these other characters in moments. Realistically, I can't say any one character outshined all of them because S. Craig Zahler knows to give everyone their moments. They all get great shine. They're all bright beacons of light in their right moments, and it's so fucking good. And Chicory is definitely going to be like the crowd pleaser. I don't think anyone that watches this movie is going to walk away with it not enjoying that character. The next character I want to talk about is Arthur, who is played by Patrick Wilson. Now, I've seen Patrick Wilson in quite a few things, but I loved his role in this. He plays a character, Mr. O'Dwyer, the husband of the kidnapped wife. And Mr. O'Dwyer he's a construction worker. He's a guy that's, he gets out there and busts his ass so he could try to get the promotions to kind of bring a better life for him and his wife. But we see right out the gate that Mr. O'Dwyer is injured. He suffered a leg injury during trying to kind of achieve this badass job, I guess, so to speak, and now he's left kind of lamed, and he's definitely going through a series of depressive moments. And the only thing that really lifts his spirits is his wife. The thing I love about Arthur's character, though, is the fact that he is hurt. So we follow this injured character from the beginning to the end of this thing, and his pain, the way that he portrays his pain very realistically. I loved this about his character. Like when he's trying to get his boots on and off and just the fucking grimaces and just the screaming and everything. Top notch. Which then I really want to talk about Lily Simmons' performance as Mrs. O'Dwyer, because like you heard me say earlier, this is a very competent woman. And there is a scene in here that I really love that Zahler gives her, where she voices her opinions to these very foolish men. The foolishness of heroes. She really gives you a perspective that maybe you're not thinking about, because it's easy to commend brave men and their fucking stupidity as they charge out into the fold, surely to die. Oh, the brave souls. But really, it's just that fucking idiot. Last but not least, I want to talk about the character of John Bruder, played by Matthew Fox. Now, guys, I don't really know who the fuck Matthew Fox is. I know he was on the show Lost. Did not watch it. So I don't really know who Matthew Fox is. But when I watch this, guess what? I know who fucking Matthew Fox is. And he's a bad motherfucker. I loved his performance. I would say personally he might have shined a little bit brighter than the rest, but that might just be because of personal flavor. You know what I mean? I like his kind of character. He portrays a character that right out the gate you don't like. He's kind of a fucking asshole. He's abrasive, and he makes comments about killing Indians like it's nothing, and he just doesn't seem like a decent dude. But as you push forward through the story, that character unravels for you, and you begin to understand his motivation. Things that might have happened in his past that helped, chink away at his stone, leaving the form that we see now, that is very hard and cold, but there's good reason. And goddamn it, he has some of the best scenes in this fucking movie. I don't want to go into it too much because of spoilers, but you know what? Matthew Fox was a goddamn all-star. And not only that, he also his performance in this made me wonder if S. Craig Zahler ever decided to do Congregation of Jackals, I would just put Matthew Fox's name in the hat for the character of Richard Sterling because I think that he could kill that character as well. The last things I want to touch on are really just, the overall tone and the themes that are being thrown at you throughout the story. The overall tone is this is a dark Western, guys. It's a Western horror, like I said, and it's definitely, you're going to get hit with that darker tone right out the gate and definitely in the later half. It is something that will definitely make squeamish people want to stop watching. There are some scenes that just are too dark and dastardly. But the people that are looking for that kind of stuff, the people that love a good gory scene, are going to 5-star these moments, okay? And the way that S. Craig Zahler really pops this shit at you at rapid rate when it explodes is so goddamn enjoyable. Now, also, I want to go back into that theme of, using violence to protect the innocent. This is something strange and kind of fun to chew on, considering, think about it. Is killing another person just? You are becoming a murderer to protect the innocent. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I am not, I'm not Moral Mark. I am the fucking dude that reads grimdark books and is kind of dirtbaggish. So I'm not the one to give you that answer, but I do think that it's cool that movies like this make you chew on stuff like that. Instead of just being a straightforward bloody Western, this thing will kind of conjure up some thoughts on how we go about protecting the innocent. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. I think for people that are really interested in the movie review aspect, they might be a little disappointed. And certainly the people that just want book reviews from me are going to be a little disappointed. But this is something that personally I needed to review before moving on to Race of the Broken Land. And I just want to encourage all of you people that love a good old dark and dastardly tale to start picking up some of this stuff that S. Craig Zahler has dropped on us, because it is heavy, but goddamn, carrying that weight is a lot of fucking fun. All right, guys, as always, thanks for spending some time down here at the channel, and to S. Craig Zahler, a kadoosh, 2 thumbs up, bam, bam. Man, I am so impressed, so impressed. In fact, though, too, after watching this, I was really, in hopes that you might, just might, return to the screen with Congregations of Jackals, sir. I would love to see that thing adapted into a movie. Of course, I want you to do it. And the only other thing I would throw out there is, like I said earlier, put Matthew Fox as Richard Sterling, and then I'll fly down there and play the twins. I'll play both roles. I'll do it for free, okay? I will bleed for you, sir. Yeah, right. I mean, you got about a fucking million other people that are better than me. But either way, I just want to say thank you because, look, I'm just rambling. I am excited. I love to get excited about shit, guys. And S. Craig Zahler has got me excited. If you're new, please like and subscribe. It helps me grow the channel. And you know what time it is.